Opposition parties have taken aim at the Birmingham City Council cabinet in the wake of leader John Clancy's resignation.
Well, the Labour leader stood down yesterday, admitting he'd made mistakes in his handling of the ongoing strikes. Councillor Ian Ward was sworn in as interim leader at a full council meeting earlier on. Chris Halpin was there for us. Chris, council meetings not always so eagerly anticipated. What was this one like?
Well, Matt, it began at 2 o'clock this afternoon and it's still going on in the council house behind me. And outside, before the meeting began, there was actually a small protest by Unite and its supporters. And they told me they have many questions for those attending this meeting today. And also, before it started, I caught up with the leader of the council's Conservative group on his reaction to the departure yesterday of the former leader John Clancy and also the cabinet he leaves behind.
There was clear criticisms of the way Councillor Clancy had acted, but the reality is 9 of the other 10 cabinet members are still in post. These are the same people who agreed to holding secret cabinet meetings, the same people who signed up to a deal that overstretched the leader's powers, the same people that didn't speak out against that deal, and the same people who've figured it's an appropriate contingency plan to have refuse only collected once every 4 weeks rather than weekly as it's meant to be.
Now, there were accusations from the Tory benches that the actions of John Clancy had actually brought the City Council into disrepute and had left the reputation of Birmingham in tatters. And perhaps unsurprisingly, it was Lisa Trickett, the cabinet member in charge of waste management and clean streets, who was in the firing line today facing many of those questions. And this is from the council's live web stream.
My question is to Councillor Lisa Trickett, Cabinet Member for the Environment, since we don't have clean streets or recycling at the moment. The former leader's resignation statement referred to actions he took along with his Cabinet. As a member of that Cabinet, do you accept a share of the responsibility for those actions and its consequences?
It's incumbent upon all of us, as both a Cabinet and as a Council as a whole, to try and seek early resolution to this industrial dispute. It does the residents of this city no good not to have their bins collected regularly. It does our industrial relations and the broader reshaping and the need to desperately improve services within this city no good by this continued problems.
Chris, we've got a new interim leader, Ian Ward. What were the questions like for him?
Well, he too faced many questions, but he was very defensive of his cabinet and of Lisa Trickett and the decisions that they made while working with John Clancy. And he was also very critical of the calls from Howard Beckett from Unite for the council's chief executive to resign, calling that wholly inappropriate. And this afternoon, the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, actually mentioned the bin strike here in Birmingham at his speech to the TUC in Brighton.
In the case of the Birmingham bin workers, which I know you've discussed today, we collectively, as the Labour and trade union movement, have a duty as a Labour movement to find a resolution to this dispute as soon as possible. Please, let's get that done quickly.
Now, that's obviously what everyone in Birmingham wants here, but with the Labour movement Jeremy Corbyn talks of seemingly at war in this city, there seems to be no end to this dispute anytime soon.
Which is not great news. Chris, thank you.